Fucker. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I accidentally killed my last recording, so we're going to be picking up from that. So, in the last video, I did a minor review of the Valaverse Action Force Vanguard, and then I told you I was going to make it mucky and ickier earlier. So, I decided to go ahead and use a lot more of my dirty paint mixture to cover all of the rest of the windows, some parts of the front of the vehicle. I obviously also added some to the front windscreen, but obviously since it has windshield wipers, they would be engaged. I'm going to also add some of that muddy paint mixture to the main gun and the M240. If I can find it, there it is. This is coming soon. I'm also going to add some to the M240. I'm also going to add some to the figure and to the figure display base. So we're going to start actually with the display base, because it's going to be the easiest one to do. For this, I'm going to use the makeup brush, and I'm going to put it back into my muddy paint mixture. Get as much as I can on there, and just start stippling it on there. This is going to add a little bit more layer, a little bit more texture. Going to put it back into my mix. Put it back all over the base. And for some of it, I am going to get a little bit of it in there. I'm just going to work it in. For others, I'm going to just stipple that paint mixture right on top. Then I'm going to take my sponge. I'm going to start making some of that run off into the paint water. Then I'm going to introduce it to my towel and soak up a good portion of that dirt and mud. And by the time this dries, it'll have a nice, dirty, muddy look to it with a little bit of a deeper highlight because of the paint. Now, if that doesn't work, I'll go back over it with a leather brown, or maybe even a nice mahogany brown. These are both Model Masters. But in the meantime, actually, we might just add it right now to this paint mixture. No, it's getting on my pants. There's a lot of dirty paint water all over me now. But I am feeling creative. And my creativity cannot be stopped by just a little bit of dirty water. We'll reintroduce our brush. Now it's at a nice, much more painty consistency too. So we might actually go back over the vehicle with this in a little bit. By a little bit, I mean I'm going to do it with, we're going to move him, put it right here. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. I'm going to add some more to the wheel, stipple some on the door, let's wipe it away with our finger. That looks so much better. That is nice. That is great. I'm going to also add it to this door edge. We're going to reintroduce our sponge this time to grab a good chunk of that. And re-stipple that right up the door here. That looks fan-friggin-tastic now. We might reintroduce this as well to the base. So I'm going to do right now. All I did with this is tickle the tips of the base of the stand and reintroduce a little bit more paint. That looks friggin' perfect. Now we're actually going to also hit the top of this thing for a little bit, because in one's imagination, one can assume that this hatch already opens. like in the lore of of Action Force. So we're going to put a little bit of dirt around the edge and around what would be the front of the cap. And since there's a little bit of mud on the side of my brush as well, I will introduce that to the mixture. And that way, I'll just attach that. Have that on the front, or the side, or the back. So I'm going to also introduce mud up here. And we're going to go all the way around the rim. Some on the handle, some on this one. And that looks great. But we're also going to add some, like I said, to this main gun because it's a dirty job. Rub it right all over the turret. And then we're going to reintroduce our sponge to it. Just dab away a lot of that. Start seeing everything being brought back. Dab and twist, dab and twist, dab and twist. If you have any already on your sponge, spread it around. And then you can reintroduce it to your towel later if you ever decide to replicate. I'm also going to get some on the ammo boxes, even though that would totally fuck the weapon system, because I am an agent of chaos. I don't play by your rules. I play by my own. My own says sometimes to burn down a very, very nice looking building. Alright, now that I've got the entire gun covered in a nice thick layer of muck, and I reintroduce the keep clear sign, whoops, now I've reintroduced the keep clear sign. We're going to see how this looks on top of the Vanguard itself. Really nice. And now, for the last part, we are going to reintroduce our driver. And we are going to start covering his boots in muck. Because realistically, if he's getting out of his vehicle to help to help in a casavac, he's going to get a little dirty. So, I really did think that it should have been a slightly dirty driver, but hey, we can't all have nice things solely because, well, it would be expensive. Pretty much what I'm saying is money is the root of all evil, however, I'm also not a communist. I'm just cheap. I'm going to stipple some onto his pants as well, even though it probably won't be seen. And there we go. He's a dirty boy. But if he's also getting dirty, he might be getting dirty everywhere. But I'm too lazy to put those details on right now. So I'm going to dirty up his gun. Because like I said, he may be a driver, but he's also a muddy one. We're going to go ahead and cover all of this in that nice muddy paint. Reintroduce our sponge and just spread it all around. Just because even though I know this would totally screw up the weapon system, I think it would be a nice touch of lore because to say that this guy's out on operations very frequently. As per the 3 Swarm logos on the back crossed out, and the 2 Swarm logos on the back crossed out on the other side, joined by a New Colonia Garrison Cavalry emblem, or Garrison logo. We're going to reattach that to the vehicle. And all of the other accessories don't require any other paint jobs because they won't be seen at all. And there we go. Muddy stand, muddy driver, muddier car, muddy guns, and a muddy hatch. I'm going to be covering all of this in a clear coat later anyways, but I'm not going to show that part because that's not at all sexy. So, thank you guys for watching. As always, stay beautiful and stay blue.